All right, Georgia Bulldogs finished 13-1 last year. The only loss was to Alabama, 27-24 in the national SEC championship game, not the national championship game. All right, returning starters offensively, 10. All right, they returned quarterback Carson Beck, 3,700 yards. They did not have their running back, but they had a starter transfer over from Florida, Trevor Etienne, 2 700-yard rushing seasons. Wideouts, Dominique Lovett, 54 catches, 600 yards. Colby Young come from Miami. He's going to be they're excited about him. Colby Young, 47 catches, 563 yards. Ra Thomas, 23 catches, 383 yards, will be one of the receivers. And the one they're so excited about.
I like him, Thomas.
Yeah, but Dylan Bell is the one because he can run the ball too.
But Etienne's the guy.
Etienne's the guy. But Dylan Bell, 29 catches, 355 yards. He also plays that running back. He's kind of a do-it-all. All right. Linemen, they've got – I'm just going over the starters. Ernest Green has 14 career starts. Dylan Fairchild, 10 career starts. Tate Ratledge, he's been a 2-year starter. These are the guards and tackles. Do not know who their center is going to be. Xavier Truss, 2-year starter. All right, guys, that's 10. That's their whole line. Everybody except for their center has started a bunch of ball games. But Delp is not a regular starter. And let me rephrase that. But when Bowers was out last year, he filled in for him, Oscar Delp.
I think he's good. I like.
He is very good. He caught 24 passes last year. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got 5 guys.
He's not Brock.
No, but he's not bad.
No.
You got 5 guys here who's caught 23 passes. Of course, all of them will rotate in. Defensively, some guys coming back for the Bulldogs are, I love this name, Small Mondin, middle linebacker, 144 tackles in the last 2 years. Man, I'm not trying to knock Georgia at all, but these stats just sound – I didn't do stats. I always do stats on these players, but I did not for Georgia because they just don't sound right. All right, for instance, Nazi Stackhouse started at nose guard last year.
Jerry's boy.
Yeah, 33 tackles. All right, that's not many tackles. Defensive end Michael Williams started 13 games last year. 18 tackles. What? 18?
He started how many games?
13. Linebacker Chaz Chambliss, 14 starts. 20 tackles from linebacker?
Yeah, you think there'd be like 60.
I don't understand the numbers.
Or maybe 50 tackles.
Well, maybe Kirby's tough on tackles.
He's Coach Mack.
I mean, you get a tackle. You get a half a tackle. But starters coming back on defense is Nazi Stackhouse, nose guard. Defensive end Michael Williams, started 9 games last year. Linebacker Chaz Chambliss, Small Mondin, 100. He's got the best numbers. And the best one, All-American preseason, Malachi Starks, who, along with Caleb Downs, was considered
top All-Americans,
the top 2 safeties in the country. 52 tackles, 3 interceptions. So great offensively. They got some. I don't want to say they got holes defensively because they just reload, but they don't have as much experience defensively. And Dylan Everett, their cornerback, is a returning starter. So defensively, they got 1, 2, 3, 6 starters back, but 10 on offense. And Beck, 3,700 yards, got all of his receivers back, but he did lose his top 2. He lost Bowers, and he lost McConkey. And Delp's good, but he's not as good as Bowers. Young from Miami's good. Love it. ATN, are you a big ATN fan?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll tell you this. We'll pull our schedule up here.
Oh, God. That's the tough part.
And I'm going to say this. I'll give you already synapse of what I'm going to tell you about Alabama.
Yeah.
Georgia better run the ball this year.
Yeah.
They better get something figured out to run the football.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they got, and he can catch the ball too. You taking that off? I'm taking mine off too.
Yeah, it's hot.
ATN can catch the ball out of the backfield, but They don't have the depth they've been having at running back. Georgia does not, unless somebody comes on, which it very well could happen. Yeah. But they don't seem to have that type of depth. They don't seem to be as.
Who's their other running back rooms?
The one I read, the top two is ATN and Bale.
Well, Bale's good.
And Dylan Bale. Didn't talk a lot about a lot of other guys. Now, Birds talked about some other guys on here that they were excited about, but the stuff I read, they didn't show a lot of excitement about anybody else except them two. And they said Bale would be used to throw and run.
Well, if Georgia thinks they're just going to go out here and
they're not just going to throw the ball all over the field,
and they're just going to go score, 46 on everybody and go scorched earth. Well, they do have Alabama on the schedule this year, and Alabama's defense is not going to be bad. They're going to be young in some spots, but they're good. But they are going to be young. And Missouri and let's pull their schedule up here.
Well, I will say this. I do not think Georgia, and Georgia's, what have they hung their hat on the last 3 years? Great what? Defense, right?
Well, that's Kirby. That's just his. That's why I don't worry about it, because I know Kirby's going to figure it out.
I don't think this defense is great.
It's not as good as he's had.
No. Now, Georgia fans may argue me and say you're stupid.
Well, that's everybody's got opinions like belly buttons. They can argue till the cows come in, but
I don't think so.
What we see is just what you see. Just what
they don't have N'Kobe Dean out here. But Starks is special.
We've seen it decline from that first title, which they kind of won. I don't.
They don't have the D lineman.
The first title, for me, was a little more surprising.
Yeah.
The second one was not.
No.
We thought that group was going to be great. We just didn't know they'd be great that soon. Mm-hmm. And they wound up winning. They stumbled around into it because the East is not real good. Because Florida and Tennessee's coming. Yeah. Tennessee's coming. They're getting better. And Georgia can't help who they play.
No, you can't help who you play. Well, they got it.
But they won the title game, so obviously they're good enough to. Well, no matter how easy the schedule is, you still got to.
You got to win those two games.
You got to win national playoff and national title, and they did both of them.
And they won the SEC championship too.
So.
No, they did not win the SEC championship.
No. So I'm going to say.
But they come back and beat the team that beat them in the SEC championship. I just don't think the defense is good. I do think the offense is fantastic. But, man, you were going over the schedule. When you see this schedule, I just don't think this is as good a Georgia team as we saw the last 3 years maybe. They may be as good as they were last year, but I don't think this is a national championship team. I'm sorry. I don't.
Okay. 11 o'clock, ABC, Georgia Bulldogs will tie up in the Benzo Dome with the Clemson Tigers, the Fighting Sweeneys.
See, that won't be an where are they playing at?
Atlanta, Benzo Dome.
Okay. I did not think that was at Clemson. Okay. Neutral.
Yeah, I'll give Georgia a win.
I think they win
that. And then they have Tennessee Tech at 1. SEC Network win. Then they go to Kentucky, 6:30 on ABC. I'm gonna say good test. I'm gonna say they win, but don't
Well,
I'm gonna say Kentucky plays with them for a while.
Well, they go to Kentucky and then they turn around and go to Alabama.
They got an off week.
I think.
Okay. September the 14th at Kentucky. We're gonna give them a win there. They're gonna be off the 21st, and then they go to Alabama, 6:30. In Tuscaloosa. It's going to be at night. Game day is going to be there, ABC. Tuned in on your dials. Now we're going to slow it down here because these next 4 games, they're going to lose 2 of these.
I'm sorry. I think they lose. Okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
That next game's at Alabama. Coming off a bye week. Mm-hmm. I think they're ready. I think playing Clemson gives them some adjustment. Tennessee Tech gives their second-team guys some playing time. And then at Kentucky, they've played it.
I think Kentucky will play them good.
But
I think Georgia will hold on.
Kentucky will play them a good game and give them – try to think about it as a coach and what you're seeing. Like if you're coaching at Georgia and when you go through those first 3, what are you feeling? And
I'm all right now, but I do not you got the week off before you play.
What are we learning about our team right now? What are we learning about Georgia? Clemson, Tennessee Tech, and at Kentucky. Well, they're probably undefeated. They're going to go into off week, and it's going to be middle of September, so it's going to be they'll probably take some time off. They go home for a little bit. Weather's probably still going to be nice. Then we're going to come back to practice on the first of the week around probably the 24th, 23rd. And we're going to get ready for Bama.
Yeah.
You're going to have to get in the bus and drive to Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, that'd be tough.
So what happens now? Here's a coach. You're at Alabama, 6:30 ABC.
I mean, they could get beat easily. You know that. I mean, I'll have to see them play more before I could make a definite call on it. By that time, they'll both have 3 games under their belt. I will say I don't think that's going to happen. 31-0 in the halftime.
No.
But, you know, look how young he looks right there. But But that's a toss up. That's a head knocking ball game right there.
Does Bama stand they stand a good chance because it's at
Tuscaloosa? A great chance.
Now this is how I do it, and
great chance.
Tell me how you like to do. How do you? Okay, I pick this. Who's at home and who's the better quarterback?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's at Bama, and Milroe obviously has already beaten Beck once.
Yeah.
Beck throws the better over the middle pass, but
Alabama's got a good D line too. Very good.
Yeah,
and they got good linebackers too.
I'm fixing to tell you about some of them. And that 4-2-5 and how they're going to play that style of defense is.
And their 2 linebackers are good too. Campbell
and
Lawson.
And
Lawson.
And Alexander and another guy.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about Alexander coming in. What, ain't Lawson one of their linebackers?
But, yeah. But I'm going to tell you.
All right. With that.
What do you base this on? All you can base it on is what we've seen last year. And Georgia offensive line just got pushed around.
Yeah, but they're all back.
But that 4-2-5 is a way. It's a better defense that allows you. It's easier to check in and out. You can change into a 3-4 with that.
Right.
That's why a lot of coaches run it, because it's better defense for on the fly. Does that make sense? You don't have to sub players as much.
Right.
You can check in and out of it.
Yeah, I like it. I mean,
you like Georgia beat Bama in this game?
Oh, I don't know. I think it could go either way. I can't pick it yet. I think they lose one of those 2.
They're losing 2 of those 4 games.
Yeah, I'll go with that. You talking about Bama, Auburn, Mississippi State, Texas?
So I'm going to say at Bama, I'm going home team. Bama beats Georgia. All right, now they're going to play Auburn for homecoming. I think Georgia is going to be too much for Auburn talent-wise. I think Auburn's going to play them good. But 7 o'clock game at Athens, give me Georgia.
Yeah.
Mississippi State.
I don't think
they're just not ready, man.
No,
they just don't have the Jimmies and Joes. At Texas,
man, I'm gonna give them an L on that straight up.
7 o'clock. Don't know where in our station yet.
Now I'll go on to say this. I think Georgia loses 2, and I think they lose to Alabama, Ole Miss, or Tennessee. I don't know which one yet. One of them, but I think Texas is a loss. I think that's an L.
Sark's offense is just uncanny.
Yeah, I'm not sure about Bama, and it could be. I think
so. We'll do it again. Here's my old scenario. How do I pick games? Who's the quarterback and where are they at? I think the better quarterback's at home.
Yeah.
I mean, Ewers is supposed to come out. I mean, he's supposed to be better than Beck. I get some people have him 1B or 1A. Some people's got Beck over Ewers. Some people have Ewers over Beck. So it's close. So I'm going to go with the home team. I'm going to say Texas. I'm going to say Texas gets them.
But I told you where I think the second loss will come from.
Now they're going to be off the 22nd of October, Dean, and then they're going to go on a 5-run skip from November the 2nd to November the 29th. Are they going to win all that 5?
No.
They're going to lose one of those 5.
Well, they could. They could. Like I said, I don't think.
Well, after Texas are going to be off, then November 2nd they play Florida. I think that's a win.
I think they lose 2 games.
2:30 and Jacksonville. They're going to go to Ole Miss, play a late game. I think this is the game that's going to decide Lane Kiffin's I was going to say eulogy.
Yeah, right.
His foregone illustration of his future as a coach. He's got to win these big games.
Yeah,
and I just hadn't seen him do it. So I'm going to say Georgia goes to Ole Miss and pulls it, and they beat Ole Miss. All right, now they're going to Tennessee, the 16.
They actually got them. Tennessee comes to them.
Yeah, it's.
So I think they'll be okay.
At home. Well, what do you like about Ole Miss? I mean, November the 9th, are they going to be able to go to Ole Miss and win that one?
I think so. I think they win that. I'm toss up on Alabama. I do think. I don't know. If just looking at it,
I think Georgia,
I know you're talking about both sides of your mouth. You said they're going to lose to Ole Miss, Alabama, or Tennessee, but now you're saying they're going to beat Ole Miss. Yes, I don't know how these teams are going to do right now. Right now, I think it's going to be one of them three. But just looking at it, I think they win that game.
The reason I like Bama is because it's at Bama, and two, I'm telling you, a lot of teams are going to have a hard time fooling with Milroe.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You can't. I mean, that guy gets scrambled around. He's gone.
I mean,
he's too big and too fast. And you just said how Georgia plays. Their deep front's going to be okay, but and before you know it, Milroe will be up the field.
Which Georgia's loaded, but they don't have a ton of experience at linebacker.
Who's going to tackle that guy?
Yeah.
A guy that played in the semifinal national championship, Heisman finalist last year, finished sixth, threw 25 touchdowns and 6 interceptions.
I'd say anybody with any sense, and I'm not saying people don't. You got to give their 2 L's. I'm giving them 2 L's. I'm sorry. I don't want nobody. I don't ever want to make anybody mad, but they're getting 2 L's.
Well, I don't care if they do get mad.
No, I don't care either. And you got to say it's going to be at Alabama and Texas.
Yeah,
you got to. But I don't like picking which games. I'm just going to say Georgia's going 10-2. Guys, there's no way they are playing at Kentucky. They're playing Clemson neutral. They're playing Bama at Alabama. They're playing at Texas, and they're playing at Ole Miss. They're not winning all those ball games.
Well,
they're losing 2.
So,
I'm sorry. I got them losing 2.
I'm going to say Lane's not proved to me yet, so I'm going to say Georgia beats them. Right. November 16th, they play in Athens, play Tennessee. I think Coach Heupel tears them up, and I think that it's going to come down to maybe who gets the ball last kind of game, because I think those teams may be kind of similar.
Mm-hmm.
They may be a little spotty on defense somewhere, but Kirby's a better defensive coach than Heupel.
Mm-hmm.
And defense usually wins championships, but it don't always win battles, but it does win wars. But, you know, UMass, that's a win. Georgia Tech, that's a win. Then SEC championship game, December 7th.
Well, Matt, I just don't.
Yeah, 10-2. I mean,
I got them 10-2. And I know we've been doing halves. There's no way Georgia loses 3 ball games. So that's why I'm not going 9.5.
I will.
But so you're going 9.5.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, there's no way they only lose 1.
Well, the holdup here.
So you got 9.5.
Here's the holdup. I've got to see Lane. He's never proven to me he can finish. You know, he just can't finish. He's the guy that paints your whole house and forgets to do the shutters.
Right.
What'd you do? Like, you cut my yard grass, but you didn't weed it down the sidewalk. That's Lane.
Yeah.
He can't finish.
So I'm going to be dead wrong on Georgia. I'm going straight up 10-2. I do not think they can survive. Now, this could still get them in the top 12 easily. It could still get them in the SEC championship game. Where you're like, well, you got Texas and Ole Miss with the best records. Texas and Ole Miss are at 10.5. I got the top 4 teams in the SEC, and it could be any 4 of them: Texas, Ole Miss, Georgia, and Alabama.
Yeah.
All 4 of them, I've got at least getting 10 wins. Now, then it'll come down to tiebreakers and all that. So I don't know if it'll be Texas and Alabama or Texas and Georgia or Ole Miss and Alabama or what.
This is really a big year.
It's different this year, guys. I don't know if you can pick a champion.
Kirby, this is the time, and you can clip this out and put it on YouTube. This is the year that Kirby has got to take the reins because they're being handed to him from the old master. Saban's gone, so most people assume that this is Kirby's league to win.
Right.
And I'm just not sold on this team.
No, I'm not 100%.
I'm just not.
I do think they're good offensively. I don't think they're going to be as good defensively. Their schedule's tough, and most of their tough games are on the road.
That on the road part is tough.
I mean, you don't go to Alabama and Texas and just, hey, 48-7.
No.
Not with the players they've got. Maybe with the team they had 3 years ago.
You've seen the teams. The past 3 years in recruiting, Bama has been 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I don't care who's coaching the team. If the guy can even tie his shoes and chew bubble gum, he ought to be able to win 9 games. With that talent, surely the goodness they can go out there on the field and stumble around. If you got a good offensive play caller, you got one of the best wide receiver coaches in the nation.
Yeah.
You got the best offensive line coach anywhere. They won the awards last year for. Surely they could stumble around and win 9 games. Bama could.
Yeah. Well, I think Bama will win.
Bobo failed at Auburn, and I'm not a Bobo fan. I know Birds. I'm sorry. I just never can be a fan of Bobo.
Right. I understand that.
I just think they're going to have trouble this year. And where Kirby's strong is maybe where he's going to be weak this year. And here's the way these coordinator jobs work out with each other. The reason Bama had so much success was because where one was strong, the other one may be weak. So it didn't matter. Mm-hmm. It always kind of balanced out. Mm-hmm. Because look at all them offensive lines, those minds that you had at Alabama. Mm-hmm. Is Bobo going to be able to balance it out? That's what I'm saying. And call good enough plays. Because here's the whole point. I don't care if you score 50. Mm-hmm. But are you going to give up 51?
Right.
What does it matter if you got a great offense? You ain't got nobody can stop nobody.
They do got a great offense. And the defense is suspect. They'll probably be good, but they're not going to be like they have been, I don't think.
I'm just saying.
I think they go 10-2, make the playoff, and could possibly go to the semifinals. Now, I don't think no, I'll go on and say it now. They're not going to win the national championship. No way.
I don't pick these next 2 teams we're doing right now to win. And these are the top 2 teams in the conference.
Now, I do think both of them can go to the Final Four.
One of them's going to be in the SEC title game. I think one of them play for the conference.
They could, yes.
One of these are going to play somebody, Ole Miss or LSU or something.
Yeah.
Some of that variation of 4.
I'll go over that now. This is just according to me and Matt's rankings. We can go over that after he does Alabama.